everything changed the moment whispers of a hidden royal decision began spreading behind palace walls. No public announcement, no official confirmation, just a story that, if true, could rewrite everything people thought they knew about the royal family. Supporters claim a private document quietly shifted the balance of power, while critics dismissed it as nothing more than speculation. But one question refused to disappear: what really happened behind those closed doors? Stay with us as we explore the claims, the rumors, and the events that continue to fuel one of the most talked about royal stories. Beneath the calm surface of the British royal family, a story began to circulate that many royal watchers described as one of the most surprising developments in recent years. There were no dramatic headlines in advance, no carefully orchestrated media campaign, and no official palace announcement preparing the public for what was allegedly about to happen. According to the narrative, everything changed behind the closed doors of a private palace office, where a single signature was said to alter the future of one of Queen Elizabeth, the second most treasured estates. It was a quiet moment, witnessed by only a handful of people, yet supporters of this account believe its consequences reached far beyond the walls of the palace. Unlike many royal stories that unfold through public ceremonies or official statements, this one was surrounded by silence. The alleged decision was never accompanied by a televised address or an elaborate explanation. Instead, it reportedly emerged through palace whispers and insider discussions, creating an atmosphere of mystery that quickly captured public attention. Royal commentators claimed that those closest to the institution were left stunned by how rapidly events unfolded. Many believed the established balance of influence within the royal family would remain unchanged, only to discover that everything had shifted without warning. According to the story, the impact was immediate. Senior palace officials were reportedly caught off guard, as they attempted to understand what had taken place. Those who had always assumed certain arrangements were permanent suddenly found themselves questioning long-standing expectations. Royal observers claimed that conversations inside palace offices became increasingly focused on one important question: why had such an important decision been made so quietly? At the center of the narrative stood Catherine, Princess of Wales. While the estate itself attracted enormous attention, supporters of this account insisted that the story represented something much larger than the ownership or management of a historic property. They argued that it reflected Queen Elizabeth's enduring vision for the future of the monarchy and revealed where her deepest trust had ultimately been placed. According to these claims, the reported transfer of responsibility symbolized confidence in the next generation, rather than simply a routine administrative change. To understand why this alleged decision generated so much interest, many royal followers pointed toward Princess and herself. Over several decades of public service, she has built a reputation unlike almost anyone else within the royal family. She is widely recognized for placing duty ahead of personal publicity, rarely seeking attention for her work, and avoiding unnecessary involvement in public controversies. While other members of the family often become the subject of headlines and speculation, and has consistently maintained a quieter presence, focusing instead on carrying out hundreds of official engagements every year. That long-standing reputation has earned her respect among royal supporters and commentators alike. Whenever Princess Anne becomes connected to an important decision, many people assume careful thought and responsibility are involved. She is often described as practical, disciplined, and deeply committed to preserving the traditions established by previous generations. Because of those qualities, any report linking her to a significant royal development naturally attracts widespread attention. According to supporters of this narrative, the estate in question represented far more than valuable land or an impressive collection of historic buildings. It was said to be one of Queen Elizabeth's most cherished personal retreats, a place where she could briefly leave behind the pressures of public life and enjoy rare moments of peace. Surrounded by familiar landscapes and rich royal history, the property reportedly held countless private memories accumulated over decades of service. Every part of the estate was believed to reflect the late Queen's personal preferences. The gardens, walking paths, interiors, and even the smallest decorative details were said to carry reminders of her careful attention and affection for the property. Those close to the story claimed it was never viewed simply as another royal residence, but rather as a place where family traditions, private reflection, and cherished memories came together. Because of that emotional connection, Any reported change involving the estate immediately sparked widespread discussion. Royal experts suggested that decisions concerning such a meaningful property would never be based solely on financial considerations or administrative convenience. Instead, they believed any transfer of responsibility would reflect long-term planning for the monarchy and the preservation of Queen Elizabeth's personal legacy. According to the circulating account, Princess Anne allegedly believed that safeguarding the estate required someone who fully understood both its historical importance and its emotional significance. Supporters of the story argued that preserving the property's traditions mattered just as much as maintaining its physical appearance. They claimed the decision was intended to ensure that future generations would continue to appreciate the values and sense of duty that Queen Elizabeth had associated with the estate throughout her lifetime. As speculation continued, royal commentators offered different interpretations of what the alleged decision might truly represent. Some viewed it as evidence of careful succession planning taking place behind the scenes, while others believed it highlighted the growing responsibilities of the younger generation of royals. Regardless of differing opinions, nearly everyone agreed that the reported development reflected the complex balance between preserving centuries-old traditions and preparing for the future. Attention inevitably returned to Catherine, Princess of Wales. According to supporters of the narrative, her reported connection to the estate was significant not because it involved prestige or privilege, but because it suggested confidence in her ability to carry forward Queen Elizabeth's values. They argued that Catherine had gradually earned a reputation for stability, dedication, and commitment to royal service, qualities many believed mirrored those demonstrated by the late Queen throughout her reign. Over the years, Catherine has become one of the monarchy's most recognized public figures, representing the royal family at important events while maintaining a carefully balanced public image. Supporters frequently point to her calm approach, focus on charitable work, and willingness to embrace royal responsibilities without unnecessary controversy. According to this account, those characteristics made her a natural choice for any role connected to protecting an important part of Queen Elizabeth's legacy. Meanwhile, Princess Anne reportedly remained true to the approach that has defined much of her public life. There were no dramatic interviews, emotional public statements, or attempts to shape media coverage surrounding the alleged decision. Instead, supporters claim she simply continued fulfilling her official duties, allowing speculation to unfold without direct involvement. For many observers, that silence only reinforced her reputation as someone who believes actions speak louder than words. As discussion spread among royal followers, one central theme continued to emerge. The reported story was never viewed merely as a question of property or inheritance. Instead, it became a broader conversation about trust, responsibility, and the future direction of the monarchy. Whether every detail of the narrative reflected reality remained open to debate, but the symbolic meaning attached to the alleged decision ensured it remained one of the most talked about royal stories among supporters and commentators alike. In the end, what captured public imagination was not simply the suggestion that control of a treasured royal estate had changed hands. It was the belief that such a quiet decision might reveal something much deeper about Queen Elizabeth's enduring influence and the people she trusted most to protect everything she had spent a lifetime building. For many royal watchers, that possibility transformed an ordinary administrative story into a lasting discussion about loyalty, legacy, and the future of the British royal family. For years, many observers believed the future of the estate would naturally follow the traditional lines of influence inside the monarchy. Private expectations were formed, conversations reportedly took place behind closed doors, and some believed they already understood how everything would eventually unfold. Then, according to these reports, Princess Anne made a decision that challenged those assumptions. With one official approval, years of expectations were suddenly thrown into doubt. Supporters of the decision argue that Anne was looking beyond the present moment. Rather than responding to short-term palace politics, she was reportedly thinking decades ahead. Catherine, they say, represented stability, continuity, and the future of the monarchy. She did not need to campaign for the responsibility or compete for attention. In this version of events, Anne believed the future queen was simply the best person to safeguard something that had meant so much to Queen Elizabeth. Not everyone is said to have welcomed that outcome. Royal commentators have suggested that members of Camilla's wider circle were disappointed by the reported transfer. According to those accounts, Some had expected their relationships and influence within royal circles to give them a voice in decisions involving the estate. When those expectations reportedly disappeared, frustration quickly followed. If those reports are accurate, the disagreement was never really about the financial value of the property. Instead, it reflected a deeper question about influence inside the royal family. Supporters of Catherine argued that her position rests on her future role within the monarchy, rather than temporary palace alliances. From that perspective, Princess Anne's decision appeared to place long-term stability above short-term political interests. The story became even more dramatic when reports emerged of researchers examining historic royal records. According to the account, those searching for legal guidance discovered a sealed red leather envelope hidden within palace archives. Inside was said to be a handwritten note attributed to Queen Elizabeth that addressed the future of the estate. Although these claims have not been independently confirmed, supporters of the story believe the reported document expressed the late Queen's wish that the estate remain protected for the future of the crown. If true, that would mean Catherine was not simply Princess Anne's preferred choice but someone Queen Elizabeth herself had intended to entrust with preserving the property's legacy. Whether every detail of this account is accurate or not, the story has sparked widespread discussion because it raises larger questions about leadership, responsibility, and the future of the monarchy. It also highlights the lasting respect many people have for Princess Anne's reputation for careful judgment and Catherine's image as a steady and dependable future queen. According to those who support this version of events, the reported decision was never about rewarding one individual or excluding another. Instead, it reflected a belief that Queen Elizabeth's most treasured sanctuary should remain protected by someone expected to serve the crown for many years to come. That idea continues to fuel debate among royal followers, ensuring the story remains one of the most talked about royal narratives in recent memory. If you'd like, I can also expand this into a 3,500 to 4,000 word Netflix-style documentary script with stronger hooks and high audience retention, while keeping the wording appropriately qualified where claims are unverified. According to accounts surrounding the story, the discovery of a previously unseen document dramatically changed how many observers viewed the dispute. Supporters of this version of events claim the document reflected Queen Elizabeth's intention that the estate should remain protected for the long-term future of the monarchy. If those reports are accurate, the decision was never simply about transferring land or changing responsibility. Instead, it represented an effort to preserve one of the late Queen's most treasured places from future political or personal disputes within royal circles. For many royal commentators, this detail became the turning point. Until then, critics could describe the reported transfer as Princess Anne's own decision. However, if the document genuinely expressed Queen Elizabeth's wishes, the discussion shifted completely. Rather than creating a new policy, Anne would have been carrying out a plan that had supposedly been prepared years earlier. That possibility transformed the debate from one about personal authority into one about fulfilling the intentions of the late monarch. According to supporters of the reported decision, Princess Anne's actions reflected long-term thinking rather than short-term palace politics. Instead of allowing the estate to become the subject of future disagreements or competing interests, she reportedly chose a path designed to protect it for generations. Catherine, Princess of Wales, was viewed by many as someone whose future role within the monarchy offered stability, continuity, and permanence. From that perspective, the reported transfer was less about the present and more about safeguarding the future. Those close to the story have also described Catherine's response as calm and measured. Rather than treating the reported appointment as a personal victory, she has been portrayed as someone focused on responsibility. Accounts suggest her attention centered on conservation, careful management of the estate, and preserving the values Queen Elizabeth associated with the property. If accurate, that approach reflects the quiet sense of duty that has often defined Catherine's public image throughout her years as a working member of the royal family. Reports have also suggested that Prince William fully supported both Princess Anne and Catherine throughout the process. According to royal commentators, he viewed protecting the estate as a way of honoring his grandmother's memory, rather than advancing personal interests. Supporters believe he considered the matter settled once the reported evidence of Queen Elizabeth's wishes emerged, seeing the responsibility as part of preserving the institution for future generations rather than reopening internal disagreements. More broadly, many observers believe the reported decision, symbolizes a gradual transition within the monarchy itself. Whether or not every detail of the story is accurate, it has prompted discussion about the changing balance between the current generation and the next. William and Catherine are widely expected to play central roles in the future of the monarchy, and stories like this often reflect that larger narrative of continuity and succession. As the debate continued, critics reportedly found it increasingly difficult to challenge the decision if it genuinely reflected Queen Elizabeth's documented intentions. According to those following the story, the conversation gradually shifted away from questioning Princess Anne's judgment and toward considering whether the reported documents accurately represented the late Queen's wishes. If they did, opposing the transfer became a far more complicated argument. Many commentators have described the story as highlighting the difference between influence and formal authority. Personal relationships, access, and palace connections may change over time, but documented legal decisions carry a different weight. Supporters argue that Princess Anne understood this distinction and acted accordingly, seeking a solution that would remain secure regardless of future political or personal changes within the royal family. Perhaps the most compelling part of the narrative is the suggestion that Queen Elizabeth may have anticipated future disagreements. If the reported handwritten instructions are genuine, they indicate a monarch attempting to provide clear guidance long before any public controversy emerged. Rather than leaving important decisions open to interpretation, the document is said to have offered specific direction for protecting a place that reportedly held deep personal significance throughout her reign. Whether viewed as historical fact, informed speculation, or simply a compelling royal story, the reported events continue to generate discussion because they touch on larger themes of duty, legacy, continuity, and responsibility. They raise questions about how institutions protect traditions across generations, and why some decisions continue to shape public debate long after they are said to have been made. In the end, according to those who support this version of events, the opportunity to reverse the reported decision had largely disappeared. Princess Anne was said to have completed the process, and Catherine, Princess of Wales, reportedly accepted the responsibility that came with it. If these accounts are accurate, Anne could have stepped away from the controversy and allowed others to handle the growing disagreement. Instead, she was portrayed as someone willing to absorb the criticism herself, believing that protecting Queen Elizabeth's legacy was more important than avoiding public scrutiny. Supporters argue that this approach allowed the next generation of the monarchy to move forward without becoming trapped in another prolonged internal dispute. Many royal observers point to this as an example of the quiet style that has long defined Princess Anne's public life. Throughout decades of royal service, she has generally avoided dramatic headlines, public confrontations, and carefully managed media campaigns. Whether attending official engagements or carrying out charitable work, her reputation has largely been built on consistency rather than publicity. Because of that history, many commentators believe that any major decision connected to and naturally carries extra weight. Rather than seeking recognition, she has often been described as someone who simply completes the task before her and allows the results to speak for themselves. According to the narrative surrounding this story, the reported decision reflected that same approach. There were no lengthy public explanations or emotional speeches. Instead, supporters describe a straightforward process driven by duty rather than personal ambition. Whether people agreed with the outcome or not, they argue that Anne acted according to what she believed would best protect Queen Elizabeth's long-term legacy. Attention then shifted toward Catherine. Those following the story have suggested that she viewed the reported responsibility not as a personal reward but as a serious obligation. Rather than celebrating, she has been portrayed as someone focused on preserving the estate, respecting its history, and maintaining the values Queen Elizabeth reportedly attached to it throughout her lifetime. Supporters believe this attitude reflects the calm and measured public image Catherine has developed over many years of royal service. Many commentators believe the story is less about palace rivalry and more about protecting Queen Elizabeth's legacy. According to reported accounts, Catherine's role represents responsibility, continuity, and preparation for the monarchy's future, rather than personal recognition. While much of the narrative remains based on unverified claims and differing interpretations, supporters argue it highlights the importance of duty, succession, and preserving royal traditions. Whether fact, speculation, or storytelling, The account continues to spark debate among royal followers.